Jai Guruji everyone. Here's our 17th Satsang from the book Light of Divinity. And this Satsang belongs to Shri Bakshi Uncle, who is a farmer in Dugri village. That's our Guruji's native place in Punjab. And the heading goes, Guruji's words end 12 years of a child's sufferings. It was during the year 1996 that Mr. Bakshi Uncle from Dugri took refuge in Guruji's Sharan. Bakshi Uncle's daughter had a damaged eardrum since she had been a year old. Pus used to ooze out of her ears and she would have fever and a sore throat. She had been enduring this for the last 12 years. Bakshi Uncle had gone to doctors, pundits, astrologers and even tried out the Babas and saints, but his daughter's condition remained the same. Bakshi Uncle then decided to go to Guruji. Guruji was in Panchkula, and when Bakshi Uncle and his daughter reached there, he was engaged in part or meditation. A devotee conveyed their problem to Guruji and came back with the instructions that the distressed father and daughter should return for Guruji's darshan the next week. The Bakshis were demoralized. They had travelled 4 hours from Dugri to Panchkula, but they did not lose patience and decided to come the following week at 6 p.m. The following week, Guruji wanted to know why they had come. Bakshi Uncle told him about his daughter's condition and asked for Guruji's grace. Guruji responded with a smile and said, Kalyan ho gaya, jai aish kar. The importance of these simple yet very powerful words was not apparent to Bakshi Uncle, as it was just his first visit. Guruji then asked Bakshi Uncle if he desired something else as well. The father, with his hands folded, requested Guruji that the only thing he wanted was the relief for his daughter from the terrible pain she had been enduring since ages. He, along with his daughter, sat with the Sangat, had prasad and langar. They were taken to the bus stand and put on the last bus for Dugri as Guruji had instructed. The next day, Mr. Bakshi Uncle saw a marked improvement in his daughter. In a few days, her trouble was a thing of the past. The Bakshis began frequenting Guruji's place every weekend. They found the only cost involved was the bus fare, which was much less than the doctor's fees. Now the next heading goes, Called from home to be blessed. The years passed by. Guruji came to Delhi and Bakshi Uncle and his daughter started coming to Delhi too. During one such visit, Guruji advised his devotee to bring his wife and son, who was still to have Guruji's darshan. Considering the travel-related difficulties and the requirements back home, Bakshi Uncle did not obey Guruji and came with only his daughter on the next trip. Guruji again asked about the other 2 members of the family. In spite of Guruji's prompting, Bakshi Uncle did not bring them to him. Guruji then gave him an ultimatum, bring the son and wife. Uncle's wife and son managed to come to the Sangat. Guruji asked his wife what she was suffering from and she told him that a severe backache had been with her since over a decade. Medical investigations had indicated a flaw in the backbone, nearly impossible to cure medically, but Guruji laughed it off, saying the pain was not due to any medical reasons but had a psychological origin. Guruji told Bakshi Uncle's wife to get her daughter married and her backache would disappear. Guruji also instructed them to visit the Sangat every fortnight. Guruji's light-hearted mention of the backache led to the pain disappearing within a couple of visits. Now the next heading goes, Taking a devotee through death's door. Bakshi Uncle would come for the Sangat in Delhi at least once a month. One day Guruji called him and introduced him to 2 people sitting close to him. There was a talk about Bakshi Uncle's father, who was some 85 years of age yet hale and hearty. His eyesight was perfect and nary had a toothache bothered him. Bakshi Uncle felt emboldened to tell Guruji about an infection his father had on his right leg affecting the area from ankle to the knee. Doctors had not been able to control the infection or lessen the pain. Guruji asked Bakshi Uncle to relax and assured him that he would take care of the situation. The great master added that though doctors were not of great help, they also have to earn their living. As Bakshi Uncle was leaving, Guruji gave him a garland placed at his feet by one of his devotees. Bakshi Uncle was to dip the garland in water and his father was to bathe with the water thus sanctified. The garland had to be disposed of in the nearest water body. Guruji's instructions were followed to a T. As expected, the leg pain went away immediately. There was another far more significant effect. Bakshi Uncle's father became entranced with Guruji. When offered lunch or dinner, he would tell household members that he had already had Guruji's langar. This told the family that the patriarch was mentally in Guruji's sharan even though he was physically present with them. Soon Bakshi Uncle's father expired. He departed from the earth calmly and gently in the middle of a conversation with his grandchildren. It is apparent with hindsight that Guruji had taken charge of his father's life in the later stages and helped him go through the door of death to his own everlasting abode. Now is this another heading, a tractor benefits from grace. For a farmer, a tractor is almost like family. So when Bakshi Uncle had to make all the important decisions of buying a tractor, he came and asked Guruji which tractor he should buy. Guruji told his devotee that he may buy any one, but not a second-hand machine. Bakshi Uncle bought a Swaraj tractor with the new accessories. In fact, the trolley which they had finally purchased was made up of heavy metal and was first of its kind in their village. Since the tractor can plough the fields thrice the size of the Bakshi's land, it is never stretched. According to Bakshi Uncle, the tractor too is under Guruji's protection. An incident bear this out. Bakshi Uncle's son dreamt that some people were trying to stop the tractor as he was driving it. One person sitting on the tractor advised him to stop immediately, as the people might try to snatch the tractor away. The son immediately stopped the tractor, but suddenly Guruji appeared and asked him to proceed. On Guruji's reassurance, he ventured ahead to find that the crowd parted to allow his tractor to go through it. Bakshi Uncle's son told his family members about the dream, and they understood it to mean that Guruji had protected the tractor from a mishap. Now the next heading goes, Bakshi Uncle becomes a big farmer. In the year 2004-2005, Guruji allowed a few of his devotees to go and visit his village, Dugri. Around 30 to 35 persons arrived in Dugri and Bakshi Uncle served them lassi. That night, his wife dreamt of Guruji and Guruji asked her if there was any shortage of ghee. When she said no, Guruji asked her why she had only served lassi to the Sangat and kept the butter. She was embarrassed and woke up. Next morning, she told her family about the dream and they decided not to repeat the mistake. On any given opportunity now, they were more than glad to serve the Sangat, lassi and butter. Why exactly the Bakshis were asked to serve the lassi and the butter is not clear. Yet since it is true that one gets what one gives out, then it needs to be noted that Bakshi Uncle had become a big farmer. Guruji had once prompted him to consolidate his scattered land holdings. Bakshi Uncle then told Guruji that he had been trying to do so for a few years and had asked Guruji that if he would be able to consolidate them. Guruji had told him it was a high time he made a dedicated effort and he would get the reward. More than happy to have Guruji's blessings with him, Bakshi Uncle kept pushing hard and today he is the owner of 200-acre farm in Dugri. All plots falling between his properties are in his name. But Guruji was not yet done with Bakshi Uncle. His devotee suffered from an acidity problem and Guruji gave his blessings to him through a copper tumbler. As Bakshi Uncle drank water from it, his acidity soon disappeared. When Bakshi Uncle returned home with that copper tumbler, his son casually remarked that Guruji had given something to each member of the family. His sister and father had been given the copper tumbler and his mother had been given Guruji's photograph and the tumbler. He was the only one left out. On their very next visit, the Guruji called him and gave him a photograph. He was delightfully surprised at the prompt acknowledgement of his remark. As the experiences of the Bakshi family show, Guruji's unconditional support protects and helps always. That's our Guruji. Thank you for listening. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji. Love you Guruji.